As a business professional, you want to eliminate friction in your business and life and be in control of your daily results to see progress in achieving your goals. Being productive is a continuous improvement process that everybody struggles with in one way or another. Welcome to the Productivity Mastery Method podcast. I'm your host, Chris Nixon, and I'm a productivity consultant. Every week, I'll share tips, insights, and interviews with guest experts that will help you think critically so you can take actionable steps to be more productive. Now that we've got this out of the way, let's dive into the episode. So to start, I'd like to invite you to share your name and field of work that you do.
Of course. My name is Sabine Kvenberg. I am a communication and confidence coach, and I help people get over the fear of being on camera and using their story and their presentation skills to really connect with their audiences.
Oh, wow. So a goal planning system is a set of tools that take you from vision to achievement. And during this podcast series, we talk about goal planning systems and the journey to refine the one that works best for you. So how does your goal planning system play a part in what you've described?
That is extremely important because when you don't have a system, be like a ship in the wind without a captain. Because if you don't have any points of reference, you can get distracted very, very quickly and very easily. So a goal-setting system is crucial for success.
So how did you come to realize that you needed a system for goal achievement?
It's really a process. Way back, it started out just making a to-do list, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to get this done. I have to do that. And as I went further on with my career, first of all, I had a performing arts school and that I had for 27 years before I really get into coaching entrepreneurs. And of course, there are systems in place to grow, like for marketing and whatnot. And back then, I didn't have a specific goal-setting system.
Mm-hmm.
That really came about when I started coaching aspiring actors to get started in the entertainment industry. And one of the things was I realized that talent is only 20%. 80% is your mindset and the systems that you use to pursue your career. So I started writing a workbook, and then that later on led into my book, Secrets on How to Succeed in Showbiz.
Mm-hmm.
And in that book, I really put down what you got to do, how to set a goal, first of all, because there's also a way how we set a goal, and also if we do it verbally or even writing it down in a very affirming way. When
Mm-hmm.
you have an affirmative way of saying things and also put feeling to it, it becomes more real. So if you do a statement like you have already achieved it, your subconscious mind help you on that path, on the way to achieving your goal. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing is you have to set up a plan. And there is your main goal, but you have to have goals in between, like steps almost that lead you to your goal. If you just have the big goal in front of you and don't know the little steps that you have to take in between, it makes it so much harder, right? So that's what I call the process goals. So you have a process in place. And I broke that down in my book, and I gave some examples.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very helpful. And I was using that then as well, obviously. So that was basically the beginning when I really created that framework.
So how does it tie then between what it is that you're going after, the big goal, and then those process goals, right back to the daily tasks that you're doing? How's the connection work there?
That's a great question. So let me give you an example. I'm taking that from out of my book. So if you want to become an award-winning actor, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a fantastic goal. But before you become this award-winning actor, you have to do certain steps, right? And you cannot just go, hey, I am here. No. Starting out, let me just shut that door. Do you hear my dog in the backside, in the background here?
I can hear him, real life.
Because he can be very loud at times. So the process goals would start out by, first of all, I have to go to school. Okay, what are the steps towards that? Finding the right school, researching the school. Then next step would be auditioning for it. Then the next step would be, after you audition, completing the schools. Then after you're out of school, then starts the audition process, and also processes as far as maybe finding an agency and getting some more experience and getting to know more people in the industry. And then maybe taking the next step to audition for movies. But how do you do that? So, and then I go through the process that leads you to get bigger roles and bigger roles and bigger roles. And then eventually you maybe get that role, the main character, or even a supporting character that wins you a nomination. So, that's the way I kind of gave an example how you break this down. Of course, this is a big, big task. Let me give you a different example. If you, for example, and I'm working with a lot of entrepreneurs or individuals who are unhappy with their job and want to change. So there's this big goal that they have right in front of them. And how can I do this? There's a lot of information out there, obviously, but just taking the information is not enough. You have to set up those process goals. And with that, there's also a system how you do this on a daily basis. Mindset. You have to have the right mindset. On a daily basis, I am working on my mindset. And that would be one task that you want to put into your daily calendar, for example. And the next would be, okay, if I want to learn those new skills to start my own business, I have to dedicate time every day to learn something that will help me become that new entrepreneur. If you want to teach something, right? You have a great skill in teaching singing, for example. Then you also have to learn, how do I attract the right clients or students? How do I do this? How do I use social media? I mean, there's so many different ways and skills besides just knowing how to teach singing. So it's a little bit of a long answer, but I hope that answers your question.
So I really like the idea of these important processes that you're outlining. Breaking it down into process steps that you might need to brush up on your own abilities in order to achieve that big goal that you're chasing. Near the beginning of your description, you were talking about mindset, and I hear the word mindset all over the place these days. It seems to be becoming more and more, especially in the coaching world and in the online business world. And could you share an example or two of what a mindset improvement task might be that you would set?
Well, absolutely. I do this every day. Maybe not every single day, but most of the days. And that is, first of all, you have to understand that our mind is very powerful. We have our conscious mind where we make conscious decision, but we also have our subconscious mind that takes everything in that we experience on a daily basis. Millions of stimulus that come in on a daily basis. And we don't process it consciously, but it's still there. With other words, when you get information downloaded, so to speak, make a choice, a conscious choice to have it a positive one. And you can do that every single day when you listen or read something positive, either about the human condition, either a skill that you want to learn. But if you really want to work on your mindset, the positivity and the human condition, how we function, how our mind works is crucial. And when you do this on a daily basis, you will improve your mindset. And at the same time, it also leads you to adopt more positive habits.
So if I understood correctly, then it's really, it boils down to taking in nurturing stuff for the mind, whether that be reading, listening to a podcast or an audiobook, something that will help you work on those skills to be able to manage all those inputs.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm working with my community, and I have a YouTube channel. So every Monday, I upload a new video. It's my Monday Mindset Minute, or minutes now, where I always share something positive. I always share something that makes people think, understand, or even reflect. Because I think when we reflect on our lives, our surroundings, and then journaling, writing it down, we can come to conclusions. We are open to ideas. And when we journal something, maybe even something negative that you experience, or you're not in a good mood, or last week I really, was not on task, write it down. That also helps you to just release it. So it's not festering within you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an important aspect too in the mindset process.
So I've heard you mention journaling now, and we've talked about the big goals and the process goals and the daily tasks. Can we get a little bit more technical now and just talk about how do you actually manage those? Where do you write them down or capture them? And how does that process look like for you?
Yeah, great question. I actually have two processes. I still like my journal, and sometimes I even write down some of the processes in my journal, my physical book. But most of the time I use an app, and in that app I also journal. So I have that digitally on my phone. Sometimes I'm not at home, so it's easier to do it on my phone. But there's also a plan section. And so you can create different plans on that app. And one is my Friday finisher. So for the week, I write down my intentions. What do I want to accomplish this week by Friday, by end of Friday? And then this lands on my big list. So my goals for that week. But then I also take those goals and put it in an additional plan. So, okay, my plan, for example, is to upload my new Monday Mindset Minute video, okay? So I put that as the topic. And then what do I need to do for that? So, okay, record the video. Maybe before that, find a new topic or discuss something with another person. After I recorded that, then I edit the video.
Okay.
Then another step would be create the artwork. Then another step would be upload everything on my YouTube channel. And then an additional step would be, for my final step, I always send out a newsletter on Mondays, and always share something inspiring, motivational, and then also share my video. So that would be kind of the process steps for that particular thing.
So that sounds like something that could be templated. Does the software that you use allow you to copy that week to week and just plug in the specifics?
Yeah, well, this particular, and I'm happy to share this app with you, and you can put it and share it with the people. That's already an existing app. I do also have, I'm working on a app myself that actually combines all the goal setting processes that I have and the frameworks that I'm using with my coaching. And so it's really all under one roof, so to speak. So people can then also communicate with me and get additional training. So that's another thing that I am currently working on.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. You're developing an app. Now that's cool. So would you mind sharing a little bit then about what were the gaps that you saw in the existing app and that you're trying to accommodate with the app you're custom designing?
Yeah, so no, actually the existing one is great. And that is just for me, I'm using it personally. But the one that I am developing is more for community building.
Oh.
Okay. So to build the tribe that want to connect and are looking into the same direction. So the one app that I have is for mindset and growth. It's a personal growth app. That's not my app. That's what I'm using. But the app that I'm going to develop is the one that really builds a community of like-minded people that are looking for the same thing, really wanting also to grow, but wanting to start their business, wanting to use their knowledge, what they already know, and their wisdom into action. And I'm able to help them with that because of my experiences and the systems that I developed along the way.
So this would be like somebody plugging into a goal planning system with a coach to go along with it.
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah. Because that's another thing that I noticed myself going through all of that is, there's great information out there. Yeah, there are great systems out there. But if you don't have a person that can really take you by the hand and guide you along the way and also be your accountability partner, you're holding you accountable for actually doing it. Because I noticed a gap again and again. There's a gap between knowing and doing. And I actually wrote a song about it. Jump the gap from knowing to doing. Oh. So if anybody is interested to listen to it, they can do it on my podcast as well. I uploaded it as a bonus.
Okay, I've got to get a bell or a ringer sound effect, because as soon as someone brings up accountability, that just gets me all excited, because I think accountability is, the missing link for so many people. There's so many systems and ways of doing things, but at the end of the day, you're alone doing it. And if you can have some help with the accountability to actually implement this stuff, that's just the magic.
Yes. And if you have somebody who's using the systems and can guide you, it's, let's do this, let's do that, and make it so much easier, because you can actually talk with them person to person. Even over Zoom, you can screen share. I mean, the technology that we have today is fantastic. And when you set up that hour, you actually get something done. And somebody is there and say, okay, I have to get this done now. And you see results. Yeah.
I'm a real fan of Gretchen Rubin's work, especially with the 4 tendencies. And to me, that really outlines the different accountability styles. Some people need external accountability. Some thrive on internal accountability. Some are a combination of two, and then there's the rebels. That's kind of a different kettle of fish. But I'm curious, how do you get your accountability?
I have mentors, and I also have colleagues. So I have one colleague. We were together in a mastermind. I'm an advocate for masterminds, because it again helps you not feeling alone. Another thing, that if you are part of a community that will develop new friendships. I have now one colleague. We really have a wonderful friendship, and we meet on a weekly basis, just via phone or via Zoom, sharing what we want to do, and also sometimes asking for some help. But that is an accountability right there and then. Said, okay, I said I would do this by the end of the week, so I better do it now.
So, Sabine, I wonder if we could go backwards a little bit into your journey towards where you have, what you've got set up now. Did you try some different systems that maybe didn't work so well, or what did you discover along the way there?
Yes. So, of course, there were just the regular calendar where you put things down, times, and lists. And then I discovered I was attending Tony Robbins' Business Mastery. And with that, he has a system that is very extensive, but fantastic. And I used that for a time, but it is more challenging because it is so extensive. I found, for me, it was bugging me down a little bit. It was taking too much time to do all of that. So now, and then I was using, a couple others. Now I'm using a system that is in the GrowthDay app that I mentioned earlier that really helps me, my morning mindset, my plans, and it gives me also reminders that, I haven't done that yet, another reminder, and it also lets me track my progress and also lets me track my habits. And I really like that a lot. So this is the system that I'm using now. And it's not that this is like 100% every day to the dot. No, again, as I mentioned to you, I like the written journal as well. And I keep track of some of my ideas, and I keep track of some of my frameworks that I develop. So when I have a minute or a few minutes, just like, okay, now I'm relaxing, I have my cup of coffee, and I'm in a good mindset. I did some work, I did some meditation before, and then I sit down sometimes to reflect, and then I start journaling, and then things start to happen, and then I'm writing it down in my physical journal. And for me, this is important too. And on that days, I'm not writing in my app. I'm not journaling in my app. So that is how I do it for me. So I have a little bit of a hybrid.
And you mentioned, not every day is 100% the same or consistent. And, that describes humans, doesn't it? I mean, we're different every day. That's just how we are. And I think black and white thinking of, I either do it 100% or it's not working for me is really a pitfall that people can fall into. And I think it's important to have that grace, give yourself that grace, that success isn't necessarily 100% exactly the same every day.
You got it. And this is so true. When people feel, I bought this system, or I bought this course, or, I subscribe to this, and they slack a little bit or they skip something, and then all of a sudden I think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. No, I always say to my clients and to myself, as you mentioned, give yourself grace. You're a human being. We are not perfect. But the most important part is to get back on the saddle, to get back in the game. Say, okay, I acknowledge my shortcomings. Now we're going to start again. And sometimes it is actually good when you stop for a little while and then get back, because you might have some new ideas. You see, through life happens, we've moved and some family circumstances. So I was not journaling. I was so busy, literally busy with physical work and then moving, and we bought a house and all of that, what has something to do with what you have to do. And so I didn't. However, I kept up my readings or my listenings. I always listened to my mentor who feeds me every morning some positivity. And that one day, he talked about journaling again and talked about reflection and getting back in the game. And then I thought to myself, so true. That's when I had my journal. I started writing it down, and I made a decision to start working on my health again, because that's what really was missing over the past couple of years. I talked to myself. We have to have the positive self-talks with ourselves too. I said, Sabine, it's time to get back on the saddle and work on your physical health a little bit more. And when your health is not good, your mental capacity is also not there. And when your mental capacity is not there, you are not journaling. You are not staying on task and working on your goals and keeping that main goal in your mind, because you're too tired. See, it's not just the systems, Chris. And that's what I'm so passionate about when I work with my clients. It's a holistic approach. You have to be healthy. Your body has to be healthy, so your mind has to be healthy. And when you have that, then you have more energy. And with more energy, you can do more things, and you have the energy and the enthusiasm to achieve and approach your goals. And when you have that, then you say, okay, how can I do this now? Let's put some process goals in place and let's put that up. And yes, now I'm ready to go.
So it sounds like your health and well-being is a key component in your goal achievement system.
Absolutely.
So you talked about journaling and going back to journaling after, we'll call it a hiatus, I suppose. And you discovered some things while journaling that probably wouldn't have come up if you hadn't started journaling again. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely. It would be.
So those insights were very important, it sounds like. I'm curious to know, though, what are your thoughts around the actual tactile of writing on paper versus typing on a computer or perhaps dictating something?
I think writing it on paper has something to do with, well, first of all, of course, preference, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying that one is not good, but for me, when I have that pen in my hand and I actually do the handwriting, there is just a connection to your brain and writing it down rather than typing it. Typing for me is faster, but it's not the same for some reason or another. And on top of that, I have all my journals and I go back. Yes, I can go back at the app and look and read it, but it's still typed. Here I read my own handwriting, so I feel it's more personal. That's why I like to use that.
Uh-huh.
On the flip side, sometimes when I write things down or processes that I type into my into my journal, into the app, I can copy and paste and then later on transpose it or transfer it on a document that I then can use. So that will save me time.
Uh-huh.
So there are all the plus and minuses.
For sure. And I'm just thinking philosophically now, maybe I'm going a little bit off topic here, but, we're approaching the last generation where we're guaranteed to know how to write. We're getting close to generations that may not handwrite ever as a matter of due course. I know my boys are in their 20s now, and they went through school of kind of handwriting was optional, as long as they could print and type. Eventually all the assignments are done on the computer, and I'm sure now it's even more done on the computer. What do you think that implication will be for these future generations that don't have that tactile experience of writing their thoughts down?
That is a very interesting question, Chris. I believe we are in an evolution process, no matter what, right?
Uh-huh.
And when we say, well, this one is bad and this one is good, we are on the slippery slope because progress is there, if we like it or not. I mean, you go back to hundreds and hundreds of years, it's like, oh, that is so bad. Or even just when the internet was invented, or the computer was invented, or the typewriter was invented, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the same thing with books, actually reading a piece of paper.
Right.
But I believe eventually it will go into that we don't even type anymore. I mean, we are talking philosophically here and way into the future, but in the future we may just read each other's minds and not even talk anymore. So is one good or bad? I don't know.
In the metaverse. But
for the time being, if we do something with our hands, and that would be, I guess, my approach, there is something that connects working with our hands and our brains that we don't have if we don't work with our body anymore.
Uh-huh. You talked a bit about, being consistent and having accountability, but what's some other advice you'd share around sticking to a system once you choose one?
You should have fun with the system. If you do not have fun, if you think, oh, this is so hard and now I have to do it, forget about it. But when you make it fun, it's a different story. And one of the things that I give as well, and that I also learned from my mentor, is giving prompts that are fun. For example, who could you surprise today? Oh, I didn't even thought of it, right? Or what if you complete your Friday finisher? How do you celebrate? Oh, right? So you bring that fun into it. So it's not like it's a task or a must, and it's like it's a chore that you have to complete. No, you want to complete because there is a reward on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is, so my background is the entertainment industries. I was a musical theater performer, director for 10 years in Europe, in Germany. That's my home country that I originated from and that I grew up. And then later on, I became also a singer-songwriter. I wrote a lot of songs for church services that I attended. And later on, I started writing songs that I could incorporate into my talks as a speaker, and also use those with my clients when I have a retreat or, just even on Zoom. And I share that music so they can get inspired and motivated through music. Music has a very important effect on our physical being, on our emotions. And when we put emotions into systems, right, then it's not so dry. Then we can have more fun with it. So that would be my piece of advice as far as how to use systems in a better way. Bring the fun.
Uh-huh.
But no matter what, I would say have, if anything, reward yourself.
Wow.
So the system that you use for goal setting, what is a reward that you want to give yourself once you complete a task or once you reach your goals? Or both, to complete the process goals or this task that leads you to the goal. Give yourself another reward. Oh, one more thing that is absolutely crucial for your productivity. And many people don't take it serious or don't do it at all. And it is proven, scientifically proven. When you sit in front of the computer for hours and hours and don't take a break, your productivity goes down. You should take a break every hour. You shouldn't work longer than 75 minutes. I oftentimes set my alarm when I work on tasks and for 55 minutes. And here are two things, Chris, what happens. Number one, you all of a sudden feel, I have to get it done. So you're more concentrated to get things done faster. And then number two, once you're done, once the alarm goes off, finish that sentence, but then stand up, stretch. It doesn't have to be a long break, but stretch and have a sip of water. Going back to feeling good and working on your mental and your physical health, being hydrated is absolute key for your energy and awareness and alertness. Even if you don't have a system yet, make that your system. We all have our smartphones. We all have our phones here. You can set an alarm. Set an alarm for every 60 minutes, 55 minutes, 65 minutes around that time. And when that goes off, you stand up, you stretch, and then have a glass of water next to your computer. And that's my best piece of advice that I can give you. If you start any kind of system, start that system.
Okay, so I'm sitting here trying to fix my posture, putting my shoulders back, and I'm looking at my glass of water here. I'm thinking about taking a drink of it. So
you do
thanks
this
for the
right
reminders.
now.
All right, we're going to have a drink of water.
Cheers.
Ah, that's good. Thanks for that reminder, Sabine. So would you mind sharing some of the successes, the personal successes that you credit to your goal planning system?
Well, number one, it would be my content creation.
Whoa.
I am a content creator. And if I wouldn't have a system, I wouldn't be able to serve as many people as I do now. I wouldn't be able to have my YouTube channel and my podcast that I started this year, because I do have certain days where I am recording it, editing it, and then, of course, publish it. And in addition, I created courses and frameworks that I now can share. Without a system, I wouldn't be able to do that. And it's not just a goal-setting system or not just a calendar, but it's also the systems that I use that help me support all of that. The software, the applications, the platforms that I use. I use one platform that has everything under one roof. These systems allowed me to be more productive and allowed me to get to where I am today, literally.
Wonderful. And that sounds like big successes, isn't it?
Yes. And it feels good. And I can tell you a controversy. When I first started out, I was going all over the place. So a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit from there. And I was constantly trying to be productive, trying to create something. And it was very tiring.
Uh-huh.
So once I then made a decision to use this one platform that I still use now for many years, that really made my life easier. And now I'm sharing it with my clients, and now can help them too to be more productive and faster, especially if somebody wants to make a shift. Because many people right now, Chris, we are in the phase that people from being scared to being complacent to wanting to be proactive. And that's what I'm helping people doing, to bring their passion or their knowledge and their skills and actually helping others with that skill and the passion that they have for helping others.
Oh,
Cold. Okay. So do
you want to bring him to join you?
Yes. We have a thunderstorm right now. I live in Florida, and in the summertime we have those big thunderstorms. When thunder starts, no, he needs to be where I am.
So he's at your feet now?
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, good. He'll be comfortable
yes, he's looking
now.
at me.
There he is.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And there's the other one. That's my secretary. She was here all the time. She's always where I am.
Fred is always warming my feet, too. I've got a little guy that lives right at my feet in my office here.
Yep, that's right.
So how has your system affected your overall organization, time management, and effectiveness, Sabine?
Well, the time management is crucial. And when you have your system, I have what I call block time. So I put a block of time in my calendar to get certain tasks done.
Uh-huh.
And that, I would say, is one of the most effective ways to really stay focused and on tasks. So when you have block time, in that block time, unless it's part of it, but you do not go to your email inbox, you do not look at your social media, right? Unless it's part of your specific task. So this is absolutely crucial for your productivity.
And how has that really affected you?
I tell you, if I don't have my block time, and again, we're all human, every time that I stay on task with block time, I set my alarm, I turn off my phone, and I close my browser. I am so laser focused, and I can get things done faster. When I'm not doing this, this is what happens. And I caught myself many times, I have to go on Facebook and do this one task. But then something pops up on Facebook. That's what social media is designed to do, to distract you, right? I have been there, believe me. So that affected me if I'm not using the system.
Yes. So Sabine, tell us about your business and the services you offer, and how would you like people to contact you to find out more?
Sure. Well, they can go to my website, SabineKvenberg.com. Yeah, that's where people can get in touch with me. I'm also on Instagram, again, Sabine Kvenberg. I have my YouTube channel, again, Sabine Kvenberg. So they can interact with me there and subscribe on my YouTube to stay inspired. But I also have a lot of free stuff that I'm giving away.
Okay.
One of the things I mentioned, I have a podcast called Become And if you put this in, become, and then my name, Sabine, then it should show up on iTunes. And I have a bonus series there with one of my songs, Jump the Gap. And I have a lot of free stuff that I give away. But I'm also doing a webinar, and that is to really help people go to the next phase that many people right now have to make a decision either to be proactive or not. Because remember, we were just coming out of that uncertainty and complacency for, okay, everything is okay now. But you don't want to stay in this place of just being okay. Mm-hmm. You want to really take responsibility for your life and for yourself. And so I am putting together a webinar, and depending on when your audience will listen to that, they would definitely see it on my website, and always can contact me directly, Sabine@SabineKvenberg.com.
Marvelous. Thank you so much, Sabine. This has been a wonderful conversation, and I appreciate you joining us.
Oh, you're so very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode. If you think the show is of value and a must-listen for someone, feel free to share it with your productivity friends. And if you do, I'd be so grateful for your support. If you want to find the links, show notes, and resources, no matter what episode you're listening to, head over to chrisnixon.com/podcast. That's ChrisNixon.com/podcast. If you want to connect with me on social, you can find me on Facebook at chrisnixon.com/Facebook or LinkedIn at chrisnixon.com/LinkedIn. Join the discussion for this episode on my LinkedIn company page, linkedin.com/company/chrisnixon. That's all for this episode, and remember, productivity is a continuous improvement process. Space Dust by Aerotone, copyright 2022, licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution License, courtesy of dig.ccmixter.org. This episode of the Productivity Mastery Method podcast is copyright to Chris Nixon 2022, all rights reserved.